Japan entered World War I for nothing more than imperialism. Back then, Japan needed to become a superpower, so it had very present the fact that it needed to obtain more land and resources. During World War I, the easiest target was the German colonies in East Asia and the Pacific, but in order to possess these colonies, they had to be very self-conscious of how fast and hard they had to move and attack, all in their own. Japan was free to take the German Micronesian colonies, which it did quite quickly before Commonwealth forces managed to release some troops to take Nauru, Samoa, and northeast Papua New Guinea.
Japan was involved in the Second World War on the Axis power side since Japan liked the idea of conquering territories as much as Germany. As Germany, there was a lot of censorship in the media and was normally used to assist the ruling of the government. Japan was involved in many battles like Coral Sea, the Midway Battle, and Pearl Harbor. After World War I was over, Japan was left with one ruling political party dictated by Hirohito. Under his ruling, the censorship about pornography and any political matter was supervised by the American government.
Japan took advantage that Europe and the United States were struggling to build a really good economy. They made an alliance with the United States. Japan wanted to prove to the world that they could become an independent political power. With them gaining power, the United States and the United States struggling with the USSR, USA felt like Japan could become their next rival. Japan wasn't involved in the Marshall Plan, since it was a Pacific country, which means that it wasn't involved in the World War I that much, or in the Cold War, even though it was.
Japan became involved in 1941. Japanese military government were equally brutal to its opponents. Japanese troops tortured and executed millions of the inhabitants of the countries they seized to liberate from the European colonial powers. They also took thousands of captured troops, including thousands of Australian soldiers, and worked them as slave labor with no medical treatment and inadequate food. Many men and women died in agony under these conditions. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted by the United Nations on December 10th of 1948.
After war, millions of people were dead, millions were homeless and starving. In the Pacific, U.S. Marines were still battling. Entrenched Japan forces the islands such as Okinawa. The goal of the United Nations Conference on the International Organization was to fashion an international body to promote peace and prevent future wars. Before the start of war, there were a number of countries, particularly Germany and Japan, which were dictatorships, countries in which people had no say over the government. In 1939, Germany's policy of seizing other countries led to war.